Tell the people what you're here for.
WWSU 1069 The Jams represents young artists making their name with their music in and out of their city. See who's on the phone this week, right now, on WWSU 1069 The Jams.
Welcome back to The Jams right here. 16 your time right here. RSJ, we're about to get into the phones right now and interview artists making names, party people. Make names known with their music in and out of their city. So today, I'm discussing music with an artist by the name of Young Prof. He's out of Toledo, and the first line of his bio really caught my attention. It read, "What do you get when you mix T.I., Drake, and Biggie Smalls into one?" Really caught my eye right here. And he has a mixtape, I Reign Supreme, which is recently released. So I'm about to head on over to the phones and talk with Young Prof right now. What's up?
What's going on? What's going on? How y'all doing?
Oh, we're doing good. Thanks for dropping by and talking with us today.
For sure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, cool. Congratulations on your mixtape, too.
I appreciate it. That's actually my album, though. You know, the I Reign Supreme. That's my album that I dropped last year.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yes,
so we're going to go ahead and look back for a moment at your musical beginnings. What was the first thing in your life that made you want to take on music?
That's a good question. I'm happy to say when I was like 10 or 11, my older brother, he was, we was in the room, he would write his little lyrics and whatnot. That kind of got the inspiration for me, so I kind of started writing them myself. But back then, I didn't think it was going to take off and become what it became. I ain't expect myself to be on the radio and dating, you know what I'm saying? But, that's kind of where it started off at.
All right, cool. So you began to hit the mixtape circuit during your high school years, most notably your sophomore year, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about this. I had read that you didn't get much support from your people back then. How did it feel from you back then?
Back then, it was tough. I mean, you know what I'm saying? When you first coming out with something that you feel like is creative, and then, when you're putting it out there to people, and they not that they're receptive to it, it's just that. They kind of have that vibe where they don't want you to make it. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
They just, people call them haters nowadays.
Right.
But, it's tough when you first have to handle it. But as you progress in the game, and you continuously doing what you're doing, you realize that hate is going to come. You actually need that hate. And then eventually you look at it as promotion. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good outlook. And how do you use that energy and channel it into your music today?
Well, I mean, basically I put all of my feelings into my music, even with my singles, my clubs, dancing songs, I put all my feelings into my music. And usually when I do that, that's how I come out with my things, like songs like Is You Mad, or new songs, Stepping Out, that's coming out soon. But, you know what I mean? That's basically how I do it, you know what I mean? I just grab the pen and just start writing. It's like I black out.
Cool. We'll be getting into Is You Mad a little bit later. So you have your music group, Supreme Grind Entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
How does it feel to have a hands-on experience in the business side along with your music?
It's a lot tougher. Uh-huh. You know what I mean? It's a lot tougher because, like you said, you're handling the business as well as trying to do the music, And when you're handling the business, sometimes it can mess up the creative side of it. Uh-huh. Or when you're trying to be creative, you kind of fall off your business a little bit, so you kind of really got to know how to balance it out, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. 6 mixtapes you were able to put out with your music group. That's good.
Yeah, appreciate it.
That's cool. So, your influences, you have cited Kanye, Tupac, T.I., DMX, and Master P.
Yeah, that's kind of the short version.
Who else do you have?
Oh, man, like you said, Master P, I came up listening. I had everybody's album from No Limit, you know what I mean? That was kind of like my main first influence, you know what I mean? Because I was just such a big fan of how he came out of nowhere, and, he was just running the game. His whole entire label. It wasn't just one artist or 2 artists. It was his entire label. You know what I mean? So that was a big influence of mine, came up on Rough Riders, Cash Money, those 98, 99 rappers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's basically where my influence came from. And then more recently, I'm really into like T.I., Kanye West, Drake, you know what I mean?
Not bad. So what do you take from these artists in building up your brand and name?
basically I let different aspects of what they've already done influence me. You know what I mean? Like, you look back at like Master P. You know what I mean? Like, I'm very influenced by his, you know, his business mind, as well as new artists like T.I.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, Swagger is kind of influenced from artists like T.I., Drake. You know what I mean? But like I said, basically I just take little pieces that I like of these certain artists, you know, and I don't copy it. I let it influence. You know what I mean?
Big difference between copy, you know, and then getting influenced, because I was just on Twitter yesterday, and we'll bring this up, and I guess somebody was severely biting off of somebody while they were in the studio. And so definitely a big difference. Had to cite that. Let me see. So you've been busy along with your music. You've opened up for some artists. I've read you've opened up for Rashida and Freeway and the legendary 2 Live Crew. How did it feel doing that?
Oh man, it's an experience. I think 2 Live Crew was the first, and that was definitely an experience. You know, that was a packed show. That was actually one of my first shows back in like 2005, 2006, somewhere around there. You know, and you know, it was crazy. You know what I mean? Because 2 Live Crew, like you said, they legendary.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that was a huge honor. And then I got to open up for T-Pain not long after that. You know, that was probably one of the best shows I've ever done, you know, especially here in the city, you know. So, yeah, like it's an experience, man. It's a real good experience. If anybody that hasn't been able to experience that, you know, should definitely make it a point to try to do that. Try to get on a show with a major act.
Cool. So let's talk about this hip hop movie that you were a part of, the Glass City Powerhouse.
Yeah, the Glass City Powerhouse, man. That was my homie Taylor, man. He put that together. Basically here in Toledo, you know, a lot of artists kind of, you know, they kind of got the views of the game a little mixed up. You know what I mean? Like, they'll take their singles to the radio before they get it popping in the streets. You see what I'm saying? And we've all been there. You know what I mean? I believe every artist has done that. They try to take their single to the radio thinking it's going to pop. But it's not going to work like that. You see what I'm saying? It's like they skipping the groundwork.
Right.
You know what I mean? Artists forget that, you know, you're still an underground artist no matter how much of a star you think you are, you want to be. You know what I mean? So, basically, my man Taylor, man, what he did was he went around the whole city. He talked to pretty much every artist around here that's putting their music out. And he got their opinions on certain subjects, how they felt about what the radio was doing, what the radio was not doing, how they feel about the city, you know, the support overall in the city. He even went to the DJs, the radio personalities, you know what I mean, the program directors. He talked to everybody, and it's all on this one DVD, and I was fortunate enough to be a part of it.
That's cool.